low. Well, the moon is broken and the sky is cracked. Come on up to the house. The only thing that you can see is all that you lack. Come on up to the house. All your crying don't do no good. Come on up to the house. Come down off the cross, we can use the wood. You gotta come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. You gotta come on up to the house. There's no light in the tunnel, no irons in the fire. Come on up to the house. And you're singing lead soprano in a junk man's choir. You gotta come on up to the house. Doesn't life seem nasty, brutish and short? Well, come on up to the house. And the seas are stormy and you can't find no port. Gotta come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. You gotta come on up to the house. There's nothing in this world that you can do. You gotta come on up to the house. And you've been whipped by the forces that are inside you. You gotta come on up to the house. Well, you're high on top of your mountain of woe. You gotta come on up to the house. Well, you know you should surrender, but you just can't let it go. You gotta come on up to the house. Gotta come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. You gotta come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Rose. Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We strive to be a congregation of compassion and justice, rooted in many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Believers in God, mystery, nature, love, queer and trans folks, immigrants, refugees, all of who we are and who we are becoming are held here as sacred. Before, during, or after service, you can visit the small altars on either side of the chancel up here to write a joy or sorrow in the prayer bowl or light a candle as well. After service, join us down in the commons for refreshments and conversation, or visit the food donation table in the lobby as a supplement to some of the receding SNAP benefits and other food insecurity issues in our community. So you can donate there if you'd like to be part of that good work in the community. And we have two very special events this week. Wednesday evening is our annual Halloween Hootenanny, which is just fun to say. You can come in costume for a pizza supper, followed by rooms with games and treats for kids, or really all ages. You can come in costume. Supper is at 5:30, festivities from 6 to 7, so join us to celebrate Halloween on Wednesday night here. And then also join us this coming Saturday for our annual auction, a social fundraiser to build community by bidding on donated items, events, dinners, and more. There will be a silent and a live auction along with great food and fellowship. Food and silent bidding starts at 5:30, and it includes food and activities for kids, and the live auction is at 7. So contact the office if you have any questions or see your e-news. So we hope to see you Wednesday for Halloween and Saturday for the auction. Your whole week, just spend it at church. We got stuff for you all week long. Each week, our offering goes out our doors to support justice work in the community. October's partner is Community Food Response. You can give as a Plates Pass or anytime online. Yes? Oh, never mind. So thanks. It's good to have a finance director in the front row. Most Sundays, our offering goes out our doors to support justice work, and Community Food Response has been our collection throughout this month. Every once in a while, about once a month, we hold the offering in-house to support our programs as a way for folks to be able to give in a variety of ways. So all today's money stays inside our doors to support this community, our self-funded congregation. Thank you. So you can still give as a Plates Pass or anytime online, and thank you for your generosity. And finally, next Sunday is our Service of All Souls with a candlelighting ritual for ancestors. You're welcome to bring photos or mementos to place on the altar that will be up here. And throughout the week, we hope you find ways to honor and welcome ancestors in your daily life. And join us next week for those services. So I invite you to take a breath as we gather for worship with these words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. In just a moment, the opening hymn will call us back. There's a flip in the hymns. We're going to do the last one first and the first one last. So we'll be singing, Gonna Lay Down My Sword and Shield as our opening hymn. But before we sing, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you.
Sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna lay down my Gonna shake hands around the world. Everywhere I roam, everywhere I roam, everywhere I roam. Gonna shake hands around the world. Everywhere I roam. Gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
Morning. This morning, we welcome a new group of members into our spiritual home and into the wider world of Unitarian Universalism. We come together as members and friends of this spiritual community. We covenant to engage each other with kindness, courage, and love. And in honor of these new members, we light this chalice as a symbol of our community, our covenant, and our faith together.
So I invite those who are joining this morning to come on forward and join us up here on the chancel. When we welcome new members, it's a seemingly simple act of putting pen to paper, signing a name and saying, welcome, come on up. Yep, come on up while I'm talking. It's all good. Yet and still, when we do this, something more powerful happens than it seems. It's a commitment of hearts to hearts, of joining into a community and reconsecrating our commitment to our values in the world, of who we are and who we are called to be, and to welcome new souls among us in the family of all souls. It is our hope that this church be a home for your soul, that you will find here your people, and together in forgiveness and in grace, strength, and resilience, we strive to make here a home for all souls.
It's a great joy for me to engage with newcomers who are interested in learning about First UU. I get the pleasure of hearing their stories of their spiritual journeys and sometimes concerns about a religious home. It is something to be celebrated when they decide that this is their place. We are their people. This is an exciting time of people finding this progressive liberal community, and we are glad that you have found your way here. We welcome you wholeheartedly into our congregation and into the wider world of Unitarian Universalism. This morning, we welcome Andy Arend, Christy Arend, Mom, Chris Knight, and Lilia Farr. And later, at our next service, we will welcome Dia Kenyon and Deb Bannicky.
So I invite you to join in the litany that is up here on the screen as we welcome them. First, the congregation. We welcome you into this congregation and into the larger circle of Unitarian Universalism. We welcome your story, your identity, and the gifts that you bring. May you find here a home for your soul. And new members.
We gladly join you with members of this church. We will offer our gifts as we are able to the flourishing and well-being of this community and support the values of this congregation: hospitality, compassion, spiritual growth, and justice.
And all together, we covenant to travel together in this religious community. Here may we be affirmed for who we are and challenged to be our best selves. Here may we grow our souls, care for each other and the earth, nurture spiritual growth, practice justice, and together lead lives of meaning, service, and love. We'll sing a blessing to them. It's hymn number 1 in your gray hymnal as they sign this membership book. And as you sign this book, I invite you to consider the over 150, nearly 160 years of names that are held in this book before yours, and the blank lines that come after yours to remember those who are yet to come. So you may sign, and we'll sing together. And with gladness, we bid you welcome.
This time of year, it's hard to think about where we'll be in the spring for a variety of reasons. But one is, what happens in the spring when everything has died over the winter? Well, this story is about, there's more behind the scenes than we actually think. And sometimes with a little bit of work, we can make something beautiful. Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt by Kate Messner with art by Christopher Silas Neal. Up in the garden, I stand and I plan, my hands full of seeds and my head full of dreams. Spring sun shines down to melt the sleepy snow. Nana says, it's not quite time. Down in the dirt, things need to dry out and warm up. What's down there, I ask. Down in the dirt is a whole busy world of earthworms and insects digging and building and stirring up soil. They're already working down in the dirt. Up in the garden, we snap brittle stalks, scoop rustly armfuls, and wheel away weeds for the chickens. While they squabble and scratch, we spread compost over the soil. Well, down in the dirt, pillbugs chew through last year's leaves, and I give a gentle poke. They roll up tight and hide in plated suits of armor, roly-poly round. Up in the garden, carrot plants sprout, pea blossoms bloom, and wasps are on the prowl. Honeybees visit, legs loaded with pollen. Down in the dirt, earthworms tunnel deep. I'm jealous of their damp dark. Up in the garden, rain shower! Nana turns the hose on me. I scream as I run away. I hide behind the cucumber vines, but their leaves can't save me. I shiver and laugh, drenched in Nana's rain. Down in the dirt, water soaks deep. Roots drink it in, and long-legged spiders stilt walks over the streams. Up in the garden, we pick cucumbers and zucchini, harvesting well into dark. Bats swoop through the sunflowers, and I pluck June bugs from the basil until it's time for bed. Down in the dirt, skunks work the night shift. They snuffle and dig and gobble cutworms while I sleep. Up in the garden, the wind grows cool. Pumpkins blush orange and the sunflowers bow to September. Nana ties them together to build a house for reading. Down in the dirt, an orb weaver spins her web, strand by silken strand. She'll munch on some moths tonight. Up in the garden, colored leaves litter the squash vines, and we know the cold is coming. Hurry, hurry, and harvest. Oh, there's enough for our neighbors, too. Down in the dirt, frantic ants gather what we leave behind. They're storing food for cooler days ahead. Up in the garden, frost draws lace on leftover leaves, where secret egg sacs hang, waiting for the warm to return. We say goodbye and spread the winter blankets. Down in the dirt, beetlebugs burrow. Ants scurry home and earthworms curl tight in the dark. And when Grandpa calls us in for soup, the autumn moon is rising. Up in the garden, dry corn stalks tremble, and the wind smells like winter. But the long, ripe days of summer still rest in the garden beds. Ladybugs and bumblebees, earthworms and ants hunkering down, hiding, biding their time. Dreaming of sunshine and blossoms and sprouts. Under the bare arms of trees and blanketing snow, a whole new garden sleeps down in the dirt. You never know what's coming and what's lurking down in the dirt, ready to rise in the spring. If the children would like to join me, we'll go down. Rose will play the children's benediction. You can find the lyrics in the back inside cover of your hymnal.
The first reading is Soil by Irene Matthew. The way you say soil sounds like soul, as in, after we walked through the woods, my feet were covered in soul. When it rains, the soul turns to mud. The soul is made of decomposed plant and animal matter. Edaphology is the study of the soul's influence on living things, while pedology is the study of how soul is formed, its particular granularity. You are rooted in a certain red patch of soul that bled you and your 100 cousins to life, a slow, warm river you call home. Maybe there is soul under everything, even when we strike rock first. The way you say soil, you make a poem out of every speck of dirt. What do you do when you're in your mid-40s and have a midlife crisis? You quit your jobs and you move from Seattle to rural Minnesota and buy a farm, with the hope of simplifying your life. It's certainly changed our lives, if not simplified it. My late husband, Jerry, had some farming experience, but I did not. We traded freeway traffic and incessant neighborhood dog barking for stunning views and aggressively erratic weather patterns. Our land needed cultivation and care. It had been conventionally farmed with a corn and a soybean rotation for years and needed help to transition to organic and sustainable growing methods. I will never forget going out into the fields after sitting in an office all day. Early evenings were spent preparing the soil, planting the seeds, eagerly awaiting the first sprouts, carefully weeding and watering the emerging plants, and eventually harvesting nature's gifts, all accompanied by the trill of the red-winged blackbirds. The advancing of the seasons was easy to observe, from the early spring peas and lettuce to the summer tomatoes and cantaloupes, to the potatoes and acorn squashes. We watched the sunrises and sunsets travel along the horizon, and the birds arrive and depart. Eventually, nature told us when the season was over. It was time for us and the land to rest, recover, and replenish for the next year. As nature needs to recover and renew, so do our souls and our bodies. As I see it, our current society does not honor the gifts that nature's cycles bestow. Our work and life schedules don't differentiate between February and August. The school schedule attempts this, as it was set up when our society was more agrarian, but our work environment does not. I have always felt called to hibernate in the winter and live with moderately wild abandon in the summer. The Celts and the pagans have the right idea, and the UUs are right to acknowledge this. I believe nature and our souls are intertwined, and our ignoring this does us no favors, physically or psychically. Since 2012, I've been fortunate to attend the Chautauqua Institution, a place for learning, recreation, spirituality, and the arts, located on a beautiful lake in southwest New York State. As pundit David Brooks calls it, summer camp for NPR nerds. One of my spiritual practices at Chautauqua is the Sunday afternoon Church of the Wild, offered by the Quakers at the Outdoor Nature Center. We are called into the classroom by drumming. There is a land acknowledgement honoring not only the native people who stewarded the land for centuries, but also an acknowledgement of the wildlife, plants, trees, insects, and aquatic creatures who continue to make this their home. Following a poem or another reading, we spread out to observe and connect with this piece of land, sky, and water. We can walk, sit by the creek, or lie on a bench and watch the clouds through the treetops. After the bell tower chimes, we are drawn back by drums for a final reading and a brief reflection on what we've observed. Over the course of 10 Sundays, it is amazing to notice the difference of the varying water levels in the creeks, the changes in the tree canopy, the smell of the air, and the changing activity patterns of the creatures who inhabit this sacred space all year around. Our souls and the soil and the sky and the water are intertwined. Never do I feel more grounded as when I am sharing the peace that nature offers us as pure gift, as part of the interdependent web of all creation. We will now, in gratitude, collect today's offering.
Knelt down by the water, she told me I am the soil's daughter. And although I look just like my father, my roots, they extend much farther. But we don't respect each other. Excuse me. Although we depend on one another, and if we don't form a band of brothers, our strength will remain uncovered. Stages the earth below us, but we destroy it till she can't hold us. So let us travel into the forest to see without it, then there is no us. Become protectors of the water, 'cause they will nourish our daughters.
Good morning. It is good to be with you. I invite you to settle in here as we create a place of communal caring and connection. Here, we honor all who support us in this caring, loving, and all-inclusive ministry. We send gratitude to Rhonda Lorenz, serving as our caring coordinator, arranging care for our members and friends for the last 2 weeks. Joyce Wood, and Lynn Kirkland will take over for the next 2, and we thank them for that. The members of our caring committee are wonderful examples of our compassionate community, holding us up as we go through challenging and happy times. And life can be challenging. We could all use some extra support with what life throws at us. And if you are experiencing those challenges in your life, we encourage you to reach out for support and help. If you need additional care or personal pastoral care, please reach out to Reverend Luke with that request. In this community, we share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because we strive to let all people here know that they are valued. We believe that each person's experience matters. We lift up those who are experiencing sadness, illness, or loneliness. May the strength and love in our congregation help guide you. And we revel in those who are experiencing joys in their lives. May their happiness lift us all, and may their joy filter into all around them. This morning, we hold Lisa Talcott tenderly in the circle of our care. Lisa is at home recovering from knee replacement surgery, which she had last week, with her faithful nurse husband, Charlie, by her side. We send her loving thoughts and healing energy as she moves through this time of rest and renewal, and as she prepares for the next step in her journey, another knee replacement in the weeks ahead. May strength and patience accompany her healing. We look forward to welcoming her back, renewed, restored, and moving with ease once again. Cards of support and well wishes are welcome for all. The list that is compiled weekly contains several members and friends of the church who are experiencing sadness or celebration and is posted in the entryway of the church as well as through a link in your e-news. We provide cards and postage and welcome you to leave those in the basket downstairs for mailing. Here, our service to each other and to the wider world is our focus. May the faith in the spirit of life, love for the community of earth, and love for the light in each other be ours now and in all the days to come.
I invite you to take a breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning, above you the sky, Beyond that, the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment, you yourself made of earth and stars. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of 1,000 names and beyond all naming. The changing light, and sometimes with gentle rain or frigid wind, the will it or won't it forecasts of fall colors or frost, or then a brief respite of a gentle Sunday sunrise, as a reminder to us that change always happens, and always irregularly, with the world around us and within ourselves. May the larger patterns we are in be for peace and possibility, and within the uncertainty of changing skies and changing souls, may we find roots enough to hold us steady, and courage enough to brave the shifting wind. We hold in our hearts those who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. I invite you to bring the names and places you're holding in your heart this day in joy or sorrow, and silently or aloud now in this time to speak their names. May the names spoken and unspoken be held in love. These words of meditation are from Leon Geary, a blessing for All Hallows Eve this week, an invitation to celebrate in gladness the wide array of humanity we might see on Wednesday at church or in your communities for Halloween. She writes, "Who knows who will bless you by darkening your doorstep? Prepare lavishly. Eagerly anticipate the unexpected. Marvel at strange beings with their arms outstretched, weird, beautiful, terrifying though they may be. Bestow upon them an array of nourishments for their choosing and call after them with sweet wishes. Who knows what might await you if you expect welcome at every threshold? So go gladly in your boldest finery. Travel with a heart companion, even the whole coven, or at least a younger sibling. And do not discount even the humblest abode. Show gratitude over every shoulder for sustenance offered, and adventure on." May that be so for all of us. Amen. The hymn is "In My Soul." Rose will lead us. The lyrics are in your order of service. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing.
In my soul, the sun is shining. In my blood, the rolling sea. In my breath, the air of mountains. In my body, Mother Earth. In my soul, the sun is shining. In my blood, the road in my breath, the air of mountains in my body, Mother Earth.
Harrowing by Parker J. Palmer. The plow has savaged this sweet field, misshapen clods of earth, kicked up rocks and twisted roots, exposed to view last year's growth, demolished by the blade. I have plowed my life this way, turned over a whole history looking for the roots of what went wrong, until my face is ravaged, furrowed, scarred. Enough. The job is done. Whatever's been uprooted, let it be seedbed for the growing that's to come. I plowed to unearth last year's reasons. The farmer plows to plant a greening season.
Meteorologist this week said, "Party's over." Another soul among you this past Thursday morning said, "When the barn gets that frosty, we know it's the real one settling in." Here in this land of what Trish called aggressively erratic weather patterns, this gift of an expression you gave us, we are at the time where the soft soil of summer has taken in the air and drawn in close. And in our yard, filled with recently dug holes from the moles, who apparently have found a friendly do-no-harm terrain, it's like a small-scale replica in our yard of the process of mountain making, formed when the material was soft and then hardened over time. So we have what feels like a miniature version of tectonic plates moving around, little mountain ranges settling in for the season as the soil now rigidifies. The season is a time of transitions, of thresholds. It holds memory, special ones for many of us, I'm sure, times of beginnings and changes, school years, or living in different places. There is often a settling into different routines or a hunkering down, drawing in the soul or physically. He says, being sick all week. God struck me down with no voice following last week's sermon, so it's a little terrifying to be back in the pulpit again. We'll see what happens. But there is something about this whole season that feels like party's over. Shut it down, time to close it all up and hunker in for safety for the months to come. A few years back around this time, I was working on something in the yard, trying to quickly get some things ready before the hard frost fell for the garden or a pathway or something. And it was just about time, where the ground was not July wild abandon soft anymore, but threshold season pliable, I thought. The shovel told me otherwise. A combination of not yet ready soil and hidden roots. I remember hearing the crack as I tried to power through, digging with the metal spade in as far as I could, pushing down the other end of the shovel. I know that was a bad idea. And then crack, where the shovel itself splintered. And then, as if mocking me, just fell apart. The handle still in my hand, the spade still half in the soil on the ground, saying, "Give it a rest, man. Just lay it down here. This ain't gonna work." The poet says, "You are rooted in a certain patch of soil and soul, a slow, warm river you call home. Maybe there is soul under everything, even when we strike rock first." This is a season also of threshold in our congregation, what we sometimes call a liminal time between what was and what is about to be in our building process and that transition time. And here we are almost suspended, taking in whatever information we can to guide our logistics and guide our feelings. The rigidity of the ground is a regular part of the conversation in this, the literal ground, as in when to pull certain plants from this land to bring along with us, or how we cared for our ancestors last year in the memorial garden, or when we entered a year of uncertain real estate, when can we break ground for a new church home? Or when were we able to retrieve, which we have, the large stone medallions that adorned the steeple of our downtown Grace Church for years. They were embedded in the grounds at Mayo Wood. Many of you know this. And since that time, and now we had to figure out when will the ground be just right to take those out of the ground without them cracking or without disturbing the landscape. And they're carefully now in restorative keeping until they'll rejoin us in our new building. But all of these questions about the literal ground reminds us that our sequencing, our phasing in this new modern technological world is dependent on how hard the dirt is. The soil and the soul always guide our work. We all are, each of us, a holder of all of this mixture, of these soil conditions filled with hidden roots, sometimes free and soft, sometimes soil conditions that are rigid or hard to work with, sometimes a seemingly solid surface with a few cracks, and then with just a bit of nourishment from water of sky, they break us open a bit to the softer, kinder, gentler soil within. We are each of us some combination of all of this. Or as the poet says, we are the echoes of those before us, and our roots extend much further than we know. And the ground can get real rigid sometimes, where it seems like old systems or old patterns in society, well-worn and familiar, feel certain, solidified, unchangeable. I'm thinking of how shortly after naming the militarism in Vietnam, after years of speaking of the intersections of justice, but when he started naming the war machine, whether it was the combination or the timing of it, that's when Dr. King was killed. I'm thinking of how a strain of religion in our country now, Christian nationalism, that I speak of very specifically, not to be taken as a dig on Christianity in general, the larger tent of which we descend, our spiritual root system, but a particular perversion of it that has fused together with nationalism and the evil oppressions and idolatries of simplistic patriotism that's rooted in superiority and hubris and power. It has become what the original strains of Christianity were fighting against: empire. I'm thinking of how leaders pay lip service to their faith and then mobilize soldiers on their own people, even as the very acts target people who they disagree with. There's a picture from the late 1930s on a cover of Religious History in my office that shows clergy side by side on the same stage with Nazi leaders. It's a chilling image, and one to take heed of how religious nationalism is not new and extends far before that era as well. The Christianity of the ancestors of this church and the faith that I grew up in calls us to turn our swords into plowshares, to lay down one's sword and shield and study war no more. The work of that hard ground, busting it open, of empire, of violence until it becomes soft, takes seasons of change and persistence and patience and know-how of imagining and then being able to work in cultivating a different world than the one we know. I still believe we have much work to do, we know this, for a system of militarism, of policing, whose root systems themselves come from the slave patrols in this country, of protecting the property of landowners and slave owners, capturing and returning fugitives who are trying to get free. It takes disrupting rigidity often in community for something else to flourish, disrupting that hard ground. And it takes patience. Sometimes you can't force certain things at certain times. But I reflect often on these words from Frederick Douglass that I've shared before, but Sometimes words like this need to keep kind of going through your mind and heart regularly until they're well-worn paths of reflection. He wrote, "If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are those who want crops without plowing the ground, those who want rain without thunder or lightning, those who want the ocean without the awful roar of its waters." His invitation from our ancestors and the challenge of this faith is not to disrupt for the sake of disruption, not to try to force something that is still too rigid, like some broken shovel, but to be wise and persistent in cultivating a deeper justice in the small interactions every day in our own hearts and souls of what we can uproot and understand, to draw from the strength and the echoes of those who came before us and not neglect our obligation for those yet to come. It is the invitation to nurture what we can, to know the roots and stories that we come from, for good and ill, and to break them open for growth, for something to flourish. The poet writes, "Today I have plowed my life this way, turned over a whole history looking for the roots of what went wrong, and whatever's been uprooted," they write, "let that be seedbed for the growing that's to come." This closing hymn is one we know from the civil rights movement. It's often said or sung in the civil rights movement as "keep your eyes on the prize." It's spiritually rooted in an expression of enslaved people working the land. "Keep your hand on the plow" is the original lyrics. Preserving great struggle and keeping hold of that which breaks up hard ground. What are you holding on to in these days where disruption and agitation is needed? What persistence are you drawing from the roots beneath you and the echoes of ancestors that are saying, stick with it, keep your hand on the plow and keep working the ground, even if the season doesn't bring what you thought it would? It's in that spirit of swords into plows, not just peace that we sing, but the hard cultivating work of justice and possibility and persistence that I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing.
Nora, come let me in. Doors all locked and the windows pinned. Keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. Nora said you lost your track. Can't plow straight if you're looking back. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. Wanna get to heaven, I'll tell you how. Keep your hand on the freedom plow. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. Keep on climbing, don't you tire. Every rung goes higher and higher. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. Again, hold on, hold on. Keep your Got my hand on the gospel plow, wouldn't take nothing for my journey now. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. One last time. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hands on the plow, hold on.
I invite you, as you're comfortable, place a hand on your heart and toward the sky or the earth in gratitude. The hymn says, if you want to get to heaven, I'll tell you how. You keep your hand on the plow. For all of our ancestors whose work of creating heaven, not in some afterlife, but here, one of freedom and liberation, may we keep our hands on the work that they started cultivating. And may we keep the ground ready for what's to come. Amen.
Want somebody to tell me, answer if you can. I want somebody to tell me, what is the soul of a man? I read the Bible often, try to read it right. As I can tell, ain't nothing but a burning light. I want somebody to tell me, answer if you can. I want somebody to tell me, what is the soul of a man? What is the soul of a man?